Now, this video is about why I left atheism. For years, I wore atheism like a badge of intellectual honor and superiority. I saw religion as just dogmatic and lacking. Let there be light just never made any sense to me. However, as I continued over the years, I began to see where atheism just left a void, and it itself never answered many questions that needed to be answered. Well, first off, let's start with that atheism leads to nihilism, which leads to a constant path of oblivion. Each time, each experience had no meaning, was just purposeless, and resulted in just an empty sense of lack of fulfillment. You see, for example, atheism leads to, for example, sexual openness between women and men. Well, I don't believe in trying everything once like most people do, but you get the point what I mean, right? However, if I had a threesome with 3 women, that threesome just became another thing marked off the threesome with 2 women. That threesome just became a thing that I struck off the bucket list. It was just a trivial accomplishment. It wasn't like I had 2 wives and those 2 wives had to serve my purpose. I had to really and truly look after my well-being for the rest of my life. This nihilism just led to unhappiness, because what you could do is just purchase an experience instead of obtaining this experience by way of a purpose or a path. One of the major turning points, however, was during COVID, when I began to think, oh, back in the days, religious people went through far more catastrophic events, and they were less miserable, more resilient, and they overcome stuff like the plagues, storms, massive flooding, and just outright major catastrophes such as wars. And they were less miserable. They prayed, they stayed together, there was a sense of community, there was a sense of hope in fighting. During COVID, we just hid in our houses and hide and watched the TV until the TV said, let us go. The TV decided to let us go. We did not call upon community. We did not go outside and say, you know what, if there's a virus outside, let's go fight a virus. We were just mere cowards listening to the words of evil men. And we didn't question it, because we didn't have no purpose, no reason to fight, to question it. We were getting money to stay at home. And at that point, I realized that man is so evil that there has to be some force to defeat this type of evil. Another reason why I left atheism was I began to realize that it was highly hijacked by feminism, which made the atheistic circles very hostile to open dialogue. And for that reason, you had to walk on eggshells. The women were very undesirable, very miserable, very disrespectful. I only know of one case of a successful relationship at the time within the Black Atheist movement, and it was with this chick called Ayanna Watson and this guy called Derek Cafe. They're the only romance I know that come upon the Black Atheist movement ever since I joined back in the day as a new atheist. And for that reason alone, I realized that I didn't want to stay among the atheistic movement because it's feminism, and what that resulted in was me even getting kicked out of atheistic circles. I remember Mario Stanton running a group on Black Atheists, and I was kicked out of there because of the women decided I couldn't stay there. Well, to hell with them. But you see, the truth is, atheism is not going to solve the situation of men in these times, because we now live in despair. We now live in uncertainty. We are no longer rewarded for manly values. We now need meaning, or else we're going to always be reactive. Weak men are reactive. Strong men are proactive. And we have to develop a type of motivation like our spiritual brothers back in Africa. That that believed that the fight was to please the ancestors. So in conclusion, I am officially no longer an atheist. I wish to not practice atheism. I see the Black Atheist movement as the biggest failure among the black movements to ever come upon the earth. And I hope we find a solution. Well, I will always respect someone's belief, and I too see the reason why people may doubt the existence of the spiritual world and therefore a deity. But I choose to surrender my ego and admit that I was wrong about atheism. I mean, most of the people in the church is still garbage. The church is still garbage. The church went and hid in their houses during COVID anyway. You know, but that doesn't mean that certain aspect of their life, if they had practiced it, would not have been more practical during COVID. Right? The church should have gone and fight the TV. Instead, the church watched the TV too. That being said, I will elaborate this in my journey, more in my journey along my YouTube, and I wish you would like and subscribe and learn more about me as we continue our journey back to belief.